So we are on the We Don't Play podcast show, and I'm so excited for today's conversation because SEO is really being talked about. It's like the way courses were talked about some time back. So I was so excited, to really be here and connect with you, Celese, on this amazing We Don't Play podcast show, and it's a pleasure to connect with you today. How are you?
I am good, and then super quick, you're gonna hate me for this. My name is Celese, and it's spelled weird because there's no T in it, so I get Celese, all different variations.
So let's get this right first.
CC.
Oh, really?
CC, yep.
Okay, CC. So it's Celeste or it's CC?
Yep, that is correct.
Trust me, I 100% get you because people are like flavor, favor. I know.
Yeah, the struggle is real. Shout out to our parents for making us have complicated names.
You know what I'm saying?
Nobody can duplicate us.
At all. Exactly. It's such a pleasure having you here today. And, we met on Clubhouse, platforms that, you meet people and you're like, whoa, look at it a year later,
I know. I was talking to someone that I met on Clubhouse, and then we did a virtual networking meeting, and she was like, how long have you been on Clubhouse? I was like, dang, it's really been a year. That year flew by. That's crazy.
Quick. Yeah. So, today I was just like, this is going to be really exciting to, catch up, see what you're working on, what you're doing for the year, and what your goals are and how you're seeing, this amazing marketing world we're in, and just letting people know who you are, what you do, and, what are your plans, what's going on.
Absolutely. So, as far as what I'm working on, listen, I was really hoping that COVID went bye-bye maybe, y'all, but she or he, whoever, is like, let me stick around. I'm still kind of in pivot mode. And then just the level set, do you mind me sharing a little bit of my backstory? Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. This podcast
perfect.
is so crazy that people are like, favorite, this podcast is like an alter ego. It's just different. So yeah, go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So yes, just to everyone listening live, replay, I am a huge fan of SEO. But a thing that's different about me is that you meet a lot of people in the space, and what they do, they go to school, they study marketing, they get into tech, and they're like, all right, let's do SEO. And they brand themselves as SEO consultants because they have a lot of knowledge. But they don't necessarily have the first-hand experience of being a business owner and then figuring out how SEO can work for their businesses. So that is why I feel like a lot of people gravitate towards me and my story and kind of listen and tap into my expertise, because I just want to let everybody know I started my business. So I live in Portland, Oregon, and I started a service-based business with literally no know-how. I come from a family, nobody owns a business, so I didn't have anybody I could ask for advice. I didn't have any friends in the space, nothing. So let's start there. Finances. I was on food stamps, all right? Scrambling. I remember I had a job that I just hated, and I would scramble every day to pull together a little bit of money so I could get lunch. So no startup capital. And I was a single mom, so also time was not a luxury that I had. So I just like to kind of start there, because I feel like that is the empowering piece. Once I get to the end and you hear all the dope stuff that I've done, you'll be like, dang, if she did this, I can do this. And that is my whole goal with sharing. It's not to boast, brag, anything. It's really to get people in the mindset that this is something that they can do for their businesses. So long story short, you heard all that. I'm not going to go back to my childhood and how it's kind of like a lifetime story. We can talk about that another time. But when I started my business, I basically got tapped in with a local nonprofit that helps small business owners in the startup stage. And they actually gave me a grant, which was dope. If you're interested in grants, I got an IDA grant. That stands for Individual Development Account. It's basically a match savings grant that nonprofits offer if you are in a certain area and below a certain income level. And fast forward that, while I was getting the information about a business bank account is when I learned about this grant. And through this organization is how I got introduced to SEO. They basically paid for like me to go to business classes. They also gave me some free like seminar tickets, and I went to an SEO seminar. And that is where I was introduced to SEO. Favor, really quick, do you know anything at all about SEO or like what it means?
Yes, I do.
Okay, let the people know, and I want to know kind of your thoughts, because I get all kinds of answers, and I love to just hear what people think.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm all in. Let's go.
All right, pop quiz time. So, what would you define as SEO?
Let me start by saying this. Whew, that's a good one. SEO it's like an everyday activity that doesn't involve you when you have placed content for people who are looking for your solutions.
Yes, kind of.
No, I just gave you like an overview, like a very basic. Yeah, I didn't touch nothing. I didn't touch no schema. I didn't touch no backlinks. Yeah.
Yes. All right, so I'm gonna kind of give my definition. Let's see what I found here. What's SEO? So first of all, it stands for search engine optimization. Like a lot of people, because I find when we have these conversations, we have to talk to everyone, which is hard, but definitely the people who have no clue what we're talking about. So search engine optimization. Basically all it is, foundationally is when you pull out your phone, your computer, and you go to a search engine, whether that's Google, Bing, Yahoo, or otherwise, and you type in something, the results that populate, that is pretty much SEO. So it's being found online by people who do not know you, do not know anything about your products or services, and they need what you have. How can you show up in front of those people on the search engines? So once I took this class, my brain exploded, and I was just like, all right, I know that what I do is dope. At the time, just to level set this, it was face painting. A lot of people do like so many things, and I was doing face painting, okay? So that's like a very low level in my opinion. It's not like, I'm really, really good at it, but the point is, I did this with face painting, so anybody can do this.
Wow.
So I literally was like, all right, I know I have a talent, a skill, but if I'm not being found, then how am I going to make money? So I literally dove head first into figuring out, all right, how can I rank on Google? Within about a year, I figured out how to get on the first page. That very next year, sorry, my dog is going crazy. Isn't that crazy? It's either the dog or the kids. Yeah. Yeah. So within about 2 years, I figured out how to rank number 1 on Google for what I do. That literally exploded my business. So I was just a solopreneur, a single person team, and I started getting so many calls that I had to literally hire subcontractors to go and work the events. I also found, it's funny, we always talk about like, what's your niche and what's your target market? I started getting a lot of requests from corporate clients, and so I quickly figured out like systems and strategies so that I can excel in that space, and that became my target demographic for our services. And long story short, listen, I'm just gonna I usually don't name drop, but I feel like for things like this is important so people can really like get like aha, or have an aha moment.
Yeah.
I got to work on a T-Mobile commercial. I've gotten to work with pretty much all the major sports teams here. So I've worked with the Blazers recently, and I can't say the person's name, but I was contracted through an agency in LA who definitely found me on Google to work at one of the Blazers' kids' birthday parties, and that was like an amazing experience. And I say the biggest one would be a Disney movie. Yes, people, someone from the crew, she was the head of the makeup department, looked me up she looked up, face painters in Portland, and I popped up first. Now, also I wanted to, we'll get into websites because that's a really important part of SEO. You can't drive traffic to a half-functioning, it doesn't necessarily have to be pretty, but it just can't be ugly, but the functionality definitely needs to be there on your website, or else you're going to lose your customer or your client through that SEO effort. But they found me on Google, gave me a call. I thought it was a prank call. I just couldn't believe it, honestly. And it is actually streaming right now on Disney Plus, so you can check it out. It's called Tindy Failure. So that's pretty much my long story that I tried to cut in half. Hopefully I didn't lose anybody. But yeah, that is just, one of the more successful stories of a local person who came from nothing, who really was able to accelerate by using digital marketing strategies.
Wow. First of all, let me say congratulations, because you're welcome, because this is so empowering. Like, what I'm hearing, I don't hear this every day. And that's also one of the reasons why I love this podcast, because I'm into music. That's my background too. Self-taught drummer, into business now, SEO, digital marketing, back to music, entrepreneurship. It's like, what do you do? Like the way they ask you, right? So it's like, what do you really do? And you keep seeing me doing these things, but you still ask the same question. So it's like, when I think about how you have turned like from face painting to makeup to stage to search to visual impact to conversions through SEO, it's like you're building that digital real estate. You're building that digital intellectual property that you're creating, that as you're doing SEO or search engine optimization, which is, like you mentioned, how can they find you? And when they find you, what do they see? Out of every 8, articles or every 8 headlines you see, only 2 may click through it, and maybe only 1 may opt in. So when you think about your impressions, your reach, your functionality, like you said, your traffic, how you building those connections, and when you do rank on Google, why are you there, and what are you ranking for that others aren't? So I just love how you're able to put that and show people that it's beyond Google, it's beyond yourself. It's other people you're serving and actually helping because you have something to give.
Absolutely. And another thing, because I know, what's funny is, so I got invited by a local neighborhood association to also share the same story. And at the end, she was like, "So that's it?" And I was like, "Well, now you say that." There is a lot of different ways you can strategize when it comes to SEO. But it all really comes down to targeting. And I feel like targeting is a very cliche word in marketing. So I like to flip that and say, how can you narrow down what you do to where it's, fits inside of, it doesn't have to just be one box. You can have a few different boxes. But that is how you really accelerate really any marketing effort, but especially SEO. And I just don't want anybody to be like, "Oh, I'm going to hop on and just put in some stuff." No, trust me, you're going to need a strategy to do this. But I just like to tell that story so people, especially people like us, right, who, we might not come from privilege, we might not come from wealth, but I promise you, knowledge is the only thing that you need here. You don't need a ton of money to do it. There's 2 different options. You can do the DIY or you can outsource. I encourage most people just to get general knowledge about it and start chipping away at it. And you just will be surprised, especially, and this is a bonus, if you're a service-based business, SEO is going to be so much easier for you than it is for an e-com product-based business that's trying to target the whole wide world. So just to kind of level set that.
That's deep. And when you think about that, there are a lot of people who say they do SEO, and when you hear that, you kind of cringe a little bit because
I know.
You're like, "Are you sure? I got a course,
Yeah, and that's, listen, I don't even know if you have time to talk
Let's
about
go.
Clubhouse has definitely shown a big spotlight on what I call fake creators and fake, experts, but we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But that is why, I said at the top of this result. Like literally, if you want to do a test, do you have your phone? Are you able to access like Google right now?
Yeah, I can. Let's do it.
Okay. So go ahead, go over to Google. Anybody listening, you can do this too at the same time, okay? Go over to Google and put in face painting in Portland. That's pretty much what I gotta put. You can put a variation, face painters, whatever, and let me know what you see. Also, I did not tell him my business name before, so let's see. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna be like, ooh, but last time I checked, it did work. And that was just today, so I feel like I'm confident in this exercise.
Oh yeah, definitely. You're number one on both the featured snippet and also on the listing.
Okay, and what does it say?
It says Portland's number one face painting service. Mm-hmm. And then it says something different on the featured snippet, which is Mystique's Fancy Faces, Portland Face Painters. And then the review, one of the best face painting companies ever. So those are power words and emotional words that you're striking through visual impact and rank, which you're just doing, and that's why you're getting all the hits.
Mm-hmm. And also, so just to help, I just love a live case study. Listen, if you can listen to this, you really should be paying for this. But thank favor for getting me on here, because this is crazy information you're about to get. So I just want you to read that. Number one, have you ever searched my company or anything related to me before, just so I can kind of understand that really quick?
I have. I've looked, okay. and I like what you've done with your content, because one of the things that I also see when it comes to search engine optimization is when you have a Google My Business, or when you have a Trustpilot, or when you have some type of authority, because SEO, when you think about EAT, expertise, authority, and trust. And when you think about the domain length, if you've had your domain for a year, that's why people are buying domains, because there's length, there's something to that. So when it goes deeper like that, which I don't want to go too deep, it's now looking from a 30,000 viewpoint and looking at the person that's just trying to figure out, where can I get the best service today?
Exactly. Also, I had heard a quote recently that really helped me understand, that is the key that I like to drive home. Visibility plus credibility equals profitability. So SEO deals with the visibility piece, so that's in one section. But the credibility piece is completely on you to build with your clients. I don't know if you were able to see, one of those reviews, they basically will highlight that, and it says best face painter ever. I did not pay anyone, I did not pull anyone's arm. I just say, hey, if you like the service, would you mind leaving me a review? That's it. Don't underestimate the power of word of mouth. Literally, that surpasses everything. Just imagine, right? All right, let's say you were looking for a face painter in Portland. You looked it up. You're like, oh, they're number one. They have great reviews. But your friend goes, like, I had an experience with that person, and it did not go good. Would you still book me? Exactly. Moral of the story is, word of mouth is still the most powerful form of marketing you can have. So please focus on also your credibility. That is very, very key. Another thing I want to touch on, and this is the big part. So actually, I'm going to teach this in my SEO bootcamp, but so showing up on the search results, that's one part. But how are you going to make people click it? That is the part that I feel like a lot of people forget about, right? So what I tell the people I work with is that meta title, so that's the one that said Portland's number one face painting service. That is the most powerful part, in my opinion, of SEO. That is where you're going to be able to capture the person who's searching. You capture their attention right there and make them stop and at least want to explore and click on it, okay? Because you are going to show up first, but you also are competing with everyone that's on that first page. So how are you going to entice people and convince them that, hey, out of all these results, this is the one you should go with? It's going to be that meta title and then the description. So you want to put powerful words in there. I use number one. You can use best, fastest, trusted, words like that that kind of give you that extra added credibility. That is like a game-changing thing that's going to help you win when it comes to SEO.
I feel like we're giving them a free masterclass.
I know.
This is.
I always listen. I overshare. People are like, "Don't share too much," but
no, it's great. That's literally what people tell me too. It's like, Favor, you're telling them about Pinterest and you're going crazy, and they don't even know how to start a pin, or pin a board, or post a picture, or even write a blog post. Those are things that when you see, it makes you aware. Like, it tells you, like you said, those questions, those things they're asking, it makes you really come down and really sit back and ask yourself, what am I doing this for? When I teach someone how to do this, what are they going to use it for? And when they use it, how do they respond back? Like you said, that credibility is on you. So if you have bad reviews, you can be ranking on number 1 for bad reviews. That's possible too.
Wouldn't that be a mess?
You don't want to be that person,
Right.
So it's so great that you're able to talk about this meta tags and meta descriptions. Let me just dive in a little bit here. What are your thoughts on this? Because now that I also think about it on the science part of SEO, I noticed that a lot of people forget that, Google is a search engine, right? And 3.5 billion people search per day on Google. And there are like almost 2 billion websites now active, about 1.9 now. And there are only 10 results on the first page. So when you think about the search engine, when you think about the power words, when you think about your copy, your pictures, your structure, these are the basic things. Name your files. Don't just name it image 1, 2, 3. Like, some things that you can sort out so that you could also help yourself and give yourself some type of credibility along the way. Do you notice that on that first page, you see a lot of 3 dots? Because if there are 3 dots on your meta description, like you said, Google can read past that. They can, it can happen, but the person that's going to read it is not going to see what's past those 3 dots. And if that's where your keyword is, or that's where your power word is, it might not be beneficial to you. So let's just talk about that real quick, just on how people should be mindful about the little things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I'm really big, no matter if you're talking about Google, Facebook, Instagram, or your blog, whatever. I'm really big on using up all of your digital real estate, is what I call it. So, for example, this is just something I learned from someone who is a high-level expert on Instagram. But she told me, hey, do you know that there's a ideal image size that will take up the whole screen on Instagram? You want to make sure that you post, when you post pictures, videos, or whatever, that they fit those specifications. And I was like, oh, genius. And she's like, yeah, you'll get more visibility. So the same way when it comes to Google, there's like a maximum allowable characters on both your meta title and description. I encourage people to use up to the max and try not to go over, because like Favor said, you'll get those 3 dots. And it also kind of takes away from the user's experience, because I don't know if you knew this, but most consumers are what I call efficient, but another word is lazy. And that means they're not going to do too much exploring and digging to try to figure things out. So you want to try to present them as straight up as you can and give them as much information without them having to take any extra steps. So, more of the story is, keep that as concise as possible. And another thing, test it. Test it as if you were a user and say, all right, how would I feel if I had this experience? That's another thing. I'm really, really big on testing. I always tell people when they come to me, whether it's one-on-one, a class, whatever, I'm like, hey, listen, my information is what has worked for me, but I never had your business. So you're going to have to test it, see what works for you, recalibrate, and test it again until you figure out something that just skyrockets your business. So that was a good question. Thanks for that.
Yeah, you're welcome, because that's really where people start to think about these things that really help. When you think about maximum visibility, as you were talking about the specifications, I was thinking about Pinterest when they give you the guidelines to make sure that you have the highest possible visibility when it comes to people experiencing your content on their phones. You know, how do they visibly see you across the timeline? And if you're thinking about doing that with that in mind, then it's kind of like a way of building that social currency or building that engagement with people who you care about because you care about what they see.
Exactly. Yeah. And more than ever now, especially because, you know, COVID's a blessing and a curse, right? But the blessing is that people have been forced, literally, to use technology in a way they've never had to use it before. So now is the time to really take advantage of all of these platforms, figure out which space is the best for you and your business, and then just like go ham. And I'm telling you, like, I've seen people get crazy results just in the last year in the digital marketing space. So yeah. And also I've been chatting with you on this Pinterest thing. I'll follow up with you on that for sure.
Yeah, trust me, when you touch Pinterest, you like, you know, when you know SEO to the point where like another platform is like it's like another vertical you can work with. Mm-hmm, that's what Pinterest is. Because when I think about Pinterest and SEO marketing, that's why I even created the club on Clubhouse. And I thought about it and I was like, people know how to use Pinterest. Everybody knows how to use Pinterest. But there's a difference between the Pinterest person and the Pinterest business. Because on Pinterest business, you get a hub that gives you analytics like you get on a search console, but now with visual impact.
Exactly. And also, so I love all things marketing, but Pinterest is actually one of my favorite apps. Like, I spend a lot of time on Pinterest, so it only makes sense that I figure out to actually market on there, duh. So yeah, thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, definitely. Have you thought about, now that you even mentioned about Pinterest, have you thought about it as an advertising platform? Like, instead of spending Facebook ads or Google ads, have you thought about Pinterest?
Okay, so this is such a great subject. So for my service-based business, I literally never run ads because I get so much traffic through SEO. So I don't even need to run ads, which is great. I feel like that's something that people forget. It's like, eventually you want to get to a point where you do something that you don't need to pay for advertising. However, this new thing that I'm doing with the digital marketing, I have run maybe 2 or 3 ads so far. And someone was telling me like, oh yeah, you should definitely, you know, tap into Pinterest. Also, a new thing that I'm doing, so for my face-painting business, I want to start leveraging my expertise to be a content creator. So Pinterest is definitely going to be somewhere that I want to put most of that content on.
Okay.
It's such a visual platform.
Yeah, it is. Think about it as Google Images, but on another platform.
Like on steroids. Got it.
Like, exactly.
Yes. And I just love like the organizational piece and how easy it is. Like, I have legit probably 30 Pinterest boards that I pin to regularly, so it's great.
Wow.
Yeah, love it.
And you know what's crazy about Pinterest that really gets me every time is the more you're able to leave comments, and people don't really do this with their Pinterest business, and they're like, oh yeah, I just gotta post. But if you spend like 70% of your time engaging with other people, and this is also like what we have in the course as one of the modules, so it's really a masterclass, but it's kind of like a top high level that you have to really go to the micro stuff to get there. But when you think about Pinterest and you're building, and I love why they said Pinterest, because it's building interest. That's really how I see it. And you're interesting because you leave a comment on someone's video, or you do an idea take, which is like a remix reel or TikTok duet or a replay or, you know, a remix, and you now leave a comment and you do that once. So there's a timestamp, there's a date stamp. So if I left any comments in 2021 on some really good pages, that's SEO for me. Just like you have SEO on your Google page because someone left a review, is as important and also as effective when you, the business owner, leaves a comment on another business profile or on another Pinterest pin with something having keywords in mind.
Ah, interesting. Never knew that.
Yeah. So when you think about it, when you kind of do the analogy, it's like, wow, this is really happening. And it's so possible because the 33% of referral traffic you get on Pinterest can really boost signals to Google, which now ranks you even higher because of that domain authority.
Ooh, that makes total sense. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, amazing.
I'm excited. This is so good. You know, like when we now think about SEO right now, and for me, who's on Pinterest, and they're like, a guy is on Pinterest, what is he doing on Pinterest? And then when you think about SEO, it's like, oh, this thing is so technical, and you don't see a lot of women on you know, with SEO and how tech or specific they can get to. I've met a couple, but you know, they're very few, and you guys stand out really well. And I just want to know, like, when you think about how this plays a role into, especially 2022, like you said, everybody is trying to learn something new, and people are really open to learning more and seeing that if she could do it, I could do it. If he could do it, I could do it. What can you say would be stopping them from getting there, looking at all this technical stuff with SEO and digital marketing as a whole, especially with content?
Ooh, that's such a good question. So I am a very straight shooter, so I'm just gonna spit this out. And this is for SEO, but I find this generally to be true in just the tech space in general. There's a fact, if you look up tech statistics, there are as far as any demographic across the board, Black women are the fewest represented minority or demographic in tech right now, 2022. And I feel like there's just something that psychologically happens when there is representation. That's why representation, especially in media, is so important. Just think about this. If you see on TV, let's just take medical. Let's take that as an example. You see a show and there's nothing but white males, all right? Something happens to your subconscious that messaging is telling you that, hey, this is not a space for me. Can't do it, right? And then just imagine what happens. You watch the same show, new episode, and then there's a Black woman, right? All of a sudden, your psychological will click and be like, oh, that's interesting, right? And so let's just take it to the real world, right? Have you ever noticed that now more than ever, there are so many more just Black entrepreneurs? And back in the 70s, 60s, you didn't see that. Why? Because they did not even allow us into the door. But now that people have gotten into the door and shown other people yeah, this is possible, they believe that, no, it's not only people that have privilege, wealth, or a certain, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, all these things, that they can do it too. There's just something powerful about that. So I just feel that I'm just a big advocate of representation, and that's why I had to literally force myself to get out, tell my story, show up, and speak up, because I understand that it empowers people to say, all right, if this person can do this, why can't I? So long story short, that's exactly the answer to your question on why, we just need more people that look like us to show up and speak up. That's it. Because we're out here. I feel like there are a lot of people out there, but they just, are more behind the scenes, and, they don't like the spotlight, and I get it. But, that is going to be a key that is really going to help this next generation of people coming up to start getting out there and getting to tech and feel like they can do it.
Yeah, I feel like that's the missing link, and that's the big opportunity people can definitely create, because we have so many talented people. Just go to TikTok, just go to Instagram, go to Pinterest. Yes. You'll see them, So I feel like now it's just really putting the art first, but also putting the strategy in a very effective way that's custom tailored to your fit. Like you said, you're going to learn from me how I made this in a year or two, but you might make it in 3, you might make it in 6 months, but that's your structure, and you can bootstrap it the way you can to make sure that you can be able to finance or pivot or create that opportunity for the next person, which now comes into now thinking like what you said about creating that importance and actually building that need, that when someone actually feels like they have that goal and that target, especially this year, people have new goals, new opportunities, God is just going to bless us, with things that we need so that we can be able to help our families and help the people we love and just connect with people. But at the same time, really think deep about why they're doing this in the first place.
Yes, absolutely. And we can talk about this another time and really get into it, but try to think of your motivation. Try to think of some things outside of money, because I had to quickly unlearn that mindset. It's like, yeah, money is great. Money is a tool that gives you access to other things. So for me, when I think about my why and why I do business, it is just freedom. Like the freedom that I get by, okay, let's take SEO, right? I don't have to work hard for leads, to be honest. Because people, they just Google and there I am. I don't have to work hard for this. All I have to do is focus on being the best at what I do so that I can maintain that credibility. And again, I already got the visibility and I have the credibility, so that makes me profitable. So more of the story is, definitely, number one, make it personal. Don't compare yourself to other people and try to get what they have. No, make it personal. Figure out what makes you motivated, what makes you happy, and make that a part of your why. And then when you get that strategy, that is going to give you the motivation that listen, I can tell you, I had literally years of where I struggled through this. So don't think that, just by me giving you these tips, it's going to be like, zing. No, you're going to have to work hard at it. It's going to be hard as hell. But once you keep on going, I promise you, you will get there. And then you will get to the easy part of business. But it's going to be hard in the building phase. Do you agree with that, Favor?
100%. Because when you make a year and look back and see that, I could do this in a year, I could do much more in the next year, because you've literally understood those ropes. And that's where people get that friction. They're not sure, should I jump? How high? How can I be able to connect to this? What do I need to do? I don't know how to start this. There's so many questions without applying those concepts. So I just love what you said, because if you can do SEO in a year or 2 and just master it and just know it, you don't have to do it forever. Just do it and then get the best to do it and then work with the best and be the best.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Yes, because I also teach, listen, I'm going to give you one more tip. I know we're going to wrap this up. But I also teach people how to, beyond ranking, right? You can use SEO for so many different things. Did you know that there are literal free tools that'll help you create content? Free SEO software tools. I'll give you a free one. The one I really like is SEMrush. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I love SEMrush. I love SEMrush. I use Ubersuggest, and it's crazy that you talk about SEMrush, because I had the opportunity to connect with the applications engineer at SEMrush on Clubhouse, and that was the first replay of once replay started, that's the first room. So I'm so glad that you mentioned SEMrush, because it's big, and I love what you're doing with those tools, because some people think they have to pay for this tool or pay people to do it, but you're paying the people to do it for the process that you want to get, that is not just based on a free 3-day search tool, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and a lot of times you're paying people so you don't have to struggle through it.
Exactly.
It's gonna take you 30 hours. It's gonna take that person 3. So
right.
Kind of think of it as GPS versus a map. But I was going to point out a really cool tool that I like with SEMrush. It's the keyword magic tool. Have you explored that one?
I haven't used the keyword magic tool, but I have used, because I don't know if you've heard of this one. Now that you're dropping tools, then you mentioned the magic tool, I was thinking about the LSI graph that it's like a keyword tool as well as a magic tool. Have you heard of it?
Oh, SideGraph. I want to say I might have seen it, but I didn't explore it.
So it's kind of like the same thing, because I've seen the inside of the magic tool on SEMrush. So yeah, okay, I see you.
Yes, and that tool, the thing that I like, because listen, I don't know if I already said this, I like social media, but there's some days where I just hate it, and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta go on here and post something, because again, consistency is kind of the name of the game there. But you have days where you just struggle, like, what am I even about to post? Especially for people who are in social media management, this is a game changer. So not only will that keyword magic tool show you, obviously, keywords and variations that you can use, if thoughts that maybe you haven't thought of, but there is a questions tab, and it will actually show you the most searched questions on any given keyword or related to any given keyword. So let's talk about Pinterest, right? Let's say you just put in Pinterest ideas, right? It will show you any question that has been searched related to those keywords. So that is a perfect strategy when it comes to content, because I find that the highest converting or the highest engaged content are the content that speaks to your audience's pain points. So if they're wondering, hey, what is the best way that I can post, 5 Pinterest in a day? Then you can talk about that, whether it be on your blog, whether it be a reel, Facebook post, whatever, right? It is the perfect way to start not only posting content and getting ideas, but high converting and high content that's going to get people engaged. And that is honestly like the name of the game when it comes to posting content.
Bing bong.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, this is 45 minutes of thought leadership you just went through.
Listen, I try, because I don't, as much as I like to produce content, I also consume a lot of content, and there's a lot of bad content out there, so I just don't want to be in that category. So
Exactly.
I'm going to give people something that they can do today. Like, I hate hearing stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, after it's done, like, okay, what do I do? Like, I just gave you, at least 2 things that you can go ahead, pull out your phone, and think about it and start applying it to your business. So hopefully that helps.
Oh yeah, definitely. This has definitely helped, and I know a lot of people are going to replay, listen, rewind, reach out, and just get more information and be inspired, because what you know today could help you tomorrow. So I just love how you've been able to, and your story, like, guys, this is gold. You don't hear this twice. There's only one, and I'm so happy that you were able to just bless us today with your impactful experience. And I definitely know someone listening. I don't know where you're listening from, because you could be anywhere in the world, but I know that what you've heard today is going to change some decisions you're going to make for tomorrow. And thank you so much for bringing that to the We Don't Play station.
Yes, and thank you for having me. Like, this is such a good experience, and I just wanted to end with, because people are always like, oh my gosh, how can I work with you? So number one, I'm really big on just pouring back into the small business community, because like I said, you heard my story, I've been where a lot of people are. I have a real passion for what I call my strugglepreneurs. Shout out to y'all. But I actually have a free Facebook group. And the reason why I use Facebook is because I'm on Facebook a lot. It's easy for me to kind of be there and not exert a lot of effort. So it's a very simple URL that I got customized. Yes, you can get a custom URL for a Facebook group. Just go to facebook.com/groups/marketing success secrets, and that should point you right to the group, or it's called Solopreneur Marketing Success Secrets. And I literally post so many things. Oh my gosh, just this week, like, we had some crazy, amazing success stories, and people are like, oh my god, like, didn't know this, trying this today. The second thing, and I'm so excited, if you go to my website, Celese, I'm gonna spell that, because I told you in the beginning, we got complicated names. It is C as in cat, E as in elephant, L as in Larry, E as in elephant, S as in Sam, E as in elephant, Williams, WILLIAMS.com. So that's CeleseWilliams.com. You'll see a pop-up. I am launching an SEO boot camp. I use the word boot camp because I don't want people to be confused, all right? If you join this boot camp, you are going to have to work, okay? It is going to be a 4-week accelerator on getting you an SEO strategic plan together. We're talking about get your website together, right? Getting a keyword strategy, getting some backlinks, understanding how domain authority works, so on, so forth, even down to like a content strategy. 4 weeks. So it is going to be jam-packed with information. And I'm going to launch that sometime this spring. I'm really hoping for next month. I've been working on it for a long time. I got a lot of flack. People be like, just launch it. Like, I've heard you talking about this for months. Just launch it. But I don't know if you can tell by my energy, but I am really serious about not just putting out fluff, right? I want to get people some real value so they can get real results. So I'm hoping to launch it next month. But if you go to my website, you'll see like that way you can sign up for the email list to be notified as soon as it drops. It's probably going to be $500 for 4 weeks. And I want to level set this really quick because a lot of people are like, ooh, $500, I don't know. Just think about this, all right? So I have ranked number 1 on Google for 8 years now. I can tell you right now that I have made, it might be 6 figures so far. Just by ranking number 1. Also, if you are confused and you want to see, receipts, I'm big on that. I asked all of my new clients, hey, how did you find me? The last time I checked, 68% of them said that they found me online. So that is powerful. Just think, if you were to get 10 new clients or sales a month, what would that do for your business? In 5 years, will that exceed $500? If the answer is no, we probably need to talk about your pricing. It's most likely yes. So,
yeah.
Yeah, listen, and also go ahead and survey, go to an agency, ask them how much they charge for SEO. I also partner with an agency, and they start at $5,000 a month, okay?
Oh, yeah.
That people do not charge little pennies for. So, moral of the story is it's $500. It will be an investment, meaning that will return to you. You will get ROI. So, again, CeleseWilliams.com. And pretty soon I'll have a quiz. If you want to know if the boot camp is a good fit for you, I'll have a 60-second quiz you can take just to determine that. So thank you for letting me in with that. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Celeste. And I got it right the end of the show for sure.
Yes.
I appreciate you. I really do, because, you've done a lot for the community, and that's almost a decade. So we're talking long term. We're talking generational wealth, and I'm just excited for what you're up to. And definitely you got to come back on the show. We got to see you. We got to put you on Pinterest. We got to make sure that people are like, oh yeah, I remember her story. I remember what she talked about. I know she challenged me. Okay, look at me a year from now. Those are the stories that are going to make you feel like, yeah, this is exactly what we're here to do, empower people. And you've just done that in less than an hour. So I appreciate you so much.
Keep my heart all warm and fuzzy. No, seriously, I will do this anytime. I would love to come back. And this is just such a fun, experience. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anytime. Just gotta say happy birthday, Celeste. It's your birthday. Wishing you the best of everything, and I'm so glad we were able to connect. So happy birthday. Just wanted to say this, and guys, we're out. Enjoy the podcast.